Hey everyone, my name is Enya and welcome back to my channel. On today's video is part 2 of the Bachelor Mansion speed build. So part 1 I recently uploaded to my channel, and part 1 includes basically the build itself, the mansion, the exterior, the interior, and now for part 2. So this video is all the landscaping. So for this challenge, I have done a speed build for the mansion. I've split this into 3 videos as it is quite a big build. The landscaping alone has its own video, which is the one that I am doing right now. It's a little bit less time than my first speed build video, the part 1. But it still took me a very, very long time. I think with builds on The Sims 4, you really need to work a lot on the landscaping. I think it really brings builds together, and it just makes it look so much cleaner and neater, and it really brings it together. So I think it's a really important part of building in The Sims 4. I placed so many rocks throughout this build. It took me quite some time. If you watch any of my other videos in the future, you'll be able to see that I use rocks basically everywhere. When I first started building in The Sims 4, I didn't really use many rocks. I didn't really discover how good it can make your build look in the end. So now that I've kind of discovered of like the different shapes and resizing and all that sort of thing, I use them in all my builds, and I spend hours sometimes just trying to place the rocks in a perfect form so it looks really good. For the landscaping throughout this pack, I actually did purchase another pack for, I think it was the romantic garden stuff pack that I purchased. So throughout this video, you'll see me starting to place different items that I didn't have at the start of this video. They really worked quite well, so I had to have it. Now, I wasn't really sure what I was going for at the beginning when I was doing the landscaping of this build. I did want the front sort of area with the fountain and the driveway with the big gates, so that kind of worked out. But everything else I kind of just went with the flow, as I always do. I struggled a little bit with these front areas, I guess, of the house. I didn't really know what to put to make it look good. I could have changed so much of the terrain, so I could have made it look like it had soil and stuff, but I didn't really discover that sort of look, I guess, in The Sims 4 when I was doing this build at the beginning. But in my future builds, I've started to use the terrain tool and how it can change everything. So I did have some sort of vision for the front. I think I wanted to do some sort of like hedge sculpture sort of garden, I guess. I didn't really know what to do with it. I kind of just placed these items around and I was hoping for the best. And I also discovered later that the hedge sculptures that I did place are massive because I resized them up, but I didn't realize that they were actually already quite big at the time. So they're just like mega size, but that's okay. That's fine. They're just there for look, really. So throughout this video, you'll see the whole garden being placed. So that includes the front garden and the back. I spent so long on the back garden, but obviously this is a very sped up video, but you'll be able to see what I do in the back very shortly. I originally wanted to have my landscaping video in with my interior furniture video as well, but it was just too long and I could have cut out lots of parts and just kind of like shown you guys different parts of the garden, but with speed builds, I guess traditionally you would just do the whole thing. But also, I guess this is, I am quite new still to building on The Sims 4. So it's kind of an experiment, everything I do in builds lately. But I'm getting much better and I've gotten a lot quicker. So in the future, you'll also see several other builds that I've done that I might do in a speed build. And they go a lot quicker than this one, that's for sure. However, this is quite a large lot. It's the biggest, I think it's the biggest lot size that you can get on The Sims. So it's 60 by 60, I believe. So the area that I'm doing now is over to the left of the property. So it's like the butler's sort of area. I kind of wanted to cover it quite a lot. I kind of wanted to camouflage it because originally I wanted to place the butler somewhere inside, but it didn't really work out. So they get to live outside in the garden, which I guess is not really a bad thing. Alright, I'm going to let you guys just enjoy a little bit of this video without me talking. So enjoy, and I will talk to you very shortly. So stay tuned for me coming back and talking to you guys. Enjoy. So I had major issues with this balcony, as you can see. My game was glitching out and it just wouldn't work, but I got it in the end. I just had to kind of redo a part of the build, which was kind of frustrating, but it worked in the end, I guess. So with the floor plan of this build as well, I kind of just did whatever. I didn't follow anything, so it was really tricky for me. I kind of wish I did follow some sort of floor plan, but I don't know, I kind of just like doing my own thing even though I kind of went in without a plan. But it somewhat worked out in the end. It's a weird shaped building, but whatever. It worked. It worked for us. So the flowers that I'm placing now, they're all from the Romantic Garden stuff pack. I think that's what it's called. They really brought everything together. I think that's exactly what the build needed, because before it wasn't really popping. Like nothing was really popping out. And I guess it all just kind of brought it all together, and it made it look a lot more romantic, which I think is the goal of that pack to begin with. And I thought I'd add some nice little statues as well to go with it, to make it kind of like old school, nice old fashioned kind of build, but somewhat modernized. And then I placed these little lights from that same stuff pack all around the garden as well. Now, the rock placement at the front of the garden didn't stop there. I continued in the back, and boy oh boy, I wish I could know how much time it took me to actually place all of the rocks in this whole build. And I always want to know, like, how many rocks are on this lot. Like, I wish I could tell, but I can't unless I just, counted them individually, but that's not gonna happen. So for this gazebo, I actually saw this idea from someone on YouTube. I can't remember what their name was, unfortunately. However, they did have theirs with a small fence line at the top, so it would create more of an awning, I guess. But because mine was on a lower level, I couldn't place that fence line, so I kind of just covered the top with lots and lots of plants, so it looked like it was all over the place. I just wanted it to be quite secretive, quite hidden. So that's like a little romantic spot for the bachelor and his ladies. Now these rose bushes are also from the Romantic Garden stuff. So that pack really, really helped me throughout this whole build. I used a lot of the stuff. I think it's a really great little stuff pack. And I thought over here I would create a little bit of a romantic spot where he can talk to them and look over at the sunset or the city skyline or whatever they want to do. But yeah, so this garden took me forever, but it was worth it. It was worth it. But the rock placement, it's just, they were everywhere. Rocks are everywhere. It just really, I think it just made the build so much better. I know it's such a little thing, but it makes it look more realistic to me in a way. But I'm going to let you guys enjoy this again without me talking. So enjoy, and I'll talk to you very, very shortly. So for this little area over here, I thought I would make a little seating area, and Chat and myself, we called it kind of like the cry it out seat or the crybaby seat or whatever you'd like to call it. So basically that's where the girls go, or the bachelor goes, when he's having a bit of bad time and they just want to sit down and have a little cry by themselves. I do add a camera at that area as well, so it'll look quite real. So these rose kind of vine hedges, I'm not really sure what you would call them. They're from the Romantic Garden stuff pack as well. They worked really well. I think that pack is a really great little stuff pack. I would recommend it if you like landscaping. It has some really beautiful plants in them. I used them throughout the whole build basically, and you can change the color of them as well, so it's not just your usual white or pink or red. There's a couple of different sorts as well. But I wanted to create this garden with as much pretty plants as I could. I think being like a bachelor mansion, especially like seeing as it's on TV or the Sims TV or whatever you want to call it, I think it's important to have quite a large garden and quite a large pretty garden, because it just makes it just sets the scene for everything. I think it's really important. But with the fountain over here, geez, that defeated me. So with the terrain tool, so how you can raise terrain on The Sims 4, every time you have like a little mountain or whatever it is, or a little dip in the lot, and you go to place an item, it just doesn't work. It's just like half floating. And it happened a lot with the rocks as well, and that really irritated me. I don't know why they have got it like that. Like, I don't know how they can't just fix it so when you place an item, it just sits on it perfectly, you know, regardless of like the terrain. But, you know, I guess you can't have everything. Now, I use rocks not only to line like a driveway or a pond or something. I use it to create garden beds as well, which you can see throughout the build, the landscaping that I've done. I just think it looks really natural and pretty, and it's not just super bare, but yeah, I think it looks great. It takes time, but it's definitely worth it in the end, I think anyway. But the one thing that I wish I did with this build that I didn't really discover too much of is the terrain tool, of where you can put more soil or different grass and that sort of thing. Like, I knew it was a thing, but I didn't really kind of realize how much it can change your garden and the look of it. That makes it look so much better and more real. But whatever. I know in the future now that I'm going to be using that tool a lot more. But also, I guess with this build, it's quite modern and clean and nice. So, you know, do they actually have soil? Who knows? Maybe they're all just fake plants. We'll never know. We'll never know. So after this video, I have the Bachelor Mansion Speed Build Part 3. Like I said earlier, that includes all the interior, so the furnishing. And then after that video, I'll be releasing a video of Create a Sim. I think I will only do it as a kind of like a short video, because I don't think you guys want to see me creating 8 Sims for 5 hours or so. But then once I do the Create a Sim video, I will be releasing the actual Bachelor Challenge. So you'll actually see everything in play, and it'll have episodes, and you'll be able to see who eventually wins our bachelor's heart in the end. So I tried putting in as many lights as I could throughout the whole garden. I think I ended up putting more in the end. I'm not too sure if you can see in this video, but I put lights everywhere because I wanted it to glow. So for this little gazebo area, I did use custom content here. This is the only area which I use custom content, as well as the front fence. I used these string lights, which was 100% needed in this build. I wanted to make a fairy tale sort of area for our bachelor and his contestants, and the only way that I could achieve that look was with these custom content lights. And unfortunately, The Sims 4 does not have any lights like this. Not that I've discovered anyway. They do have some string lights, but nothing quite like the ones that I found here. So I also used these string lights at the front of the property as well. I wanted to make everything look quite fairy tale like. I could have put them everywhere, but I didn't want to go overboard. And I think maybe I'll put this mansion up on the gallery someday and I'll just take them away. So it might be much easier just to have them in some areas. So I also used these saucer lights throughout the garden as well. I just needed to create as much light during nighttime as I could, and they helped quite a bit as well. So that's the end of my landscaping part of this series. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you do, please leave a comment, like, and subscribe. And I'll see you guys in my next video of part 3 of the speed build of the Bachelor Mansion. Thanks guys, see ya.